see here, sir. Another very important key point before moving on to the next problem. Now we already know this key point. The key point says if x plus 1 by x is equal to k, then x square plus 1 by x square is equal to k square minus 2. Correct, right? This is something we already know it. Now if you observe very carefully here, x is one of the variable and the coefficient for that is 1. That means x is multiplied with 1. The other thing is 1 by x. 1 by x is the second part here, and the coefficient of 1 by x is also 1. That means 1 by x is also multiplied with 1. That means x is multiplied with 1. 1 by x is also multiplied with 1. What if x and 1 by x are not multiplied by 1, but they are multiplied by some other constant? Suppose x is multiplied by 2. 1 by x is also multiplied by 2. Suppose x is multiplied by 7. 1 by x is also multiplied by 7. Forget about x and 1 by x being multiplied by the same constant. What if x is multiplied by 5? 1 by x is multiplied by some other constant 4. X is multiplied by 9. 1 by x is multiplied by some other constant 11. That means I am talking about a scenario where x is multiplied by some constant a and 1 by x is multiplied by some other constant called as b. I will write it as 1 by x into b, b by x. Suppose if this is the case, ax plus b by x is equal to k. If this kind of varieties of problems are given, how to deal with this kind of forms? What is the method that I need to apply to deal with this kind of forms? That is what we are learning right now. Now see here, sir. It is very simple. Very simple. In our previous classes we derived this. X plus 1 by x is equal to k. How did we went through the derivation? How did we prove it actually? How did we prove that x square plus 1 by x square will be equal to k square minus 2? How did we prove it? It's very simple, sir. We proved it by squaring on both sides. Correct, right? By squaring on both sides. Same logic here also. Now I have something called as ax plus b by x is equal to k, and if I want to continue my proof, the one thing which I will do is squaring both sides. Exactly the same. There is no change at all. Squaring both sides. If I square, left side will become a square x square plus b square divided by x square plus 2ab. 2 into this term into b by x. X will cancel. You are left with only ab. Right side is nothing but k square. So finally I can conclude that a square x square plus b square divided by x square is equal to k square minus 2 ab. I hope this proof is very clear. Now in a very simple language, if I want to say it to you people, sir, in my previous case, now this is my generalized form. This is the general form of this particular expression. If I want a particular case, put a value as 1, b value as 1. If I put a and b values as 1, a square is 1 square x square, that is nothing but x square. B square is 1 square by x square, that is nothing but 1 by x square. K square minus 2 into a value is 1, b value is also 1. 2 into 1 is nothing but 2 itself. So this particular top condition what I have written at the top of the screen is actually derived from this itself. That means in simple language, whenever, let me write it one final time before moving on to problems here. Let me write it here itself, sir. Okay, where is the place? There is no place itself. Okay, let me erase this screen and write it here. If ax plus b by x is equal to k, then very important point is a square x square plus b square by x square is, earlier we knew a form called as k square minus 2. Write down the same k square minus 2 right now also, but for this 2, multiply the coefficient of x, that is a, multiply the coefficient of 1 by x, that is nothing but b. So final expression is k square minus 2ab. Now why did I discuss this? You might get a doubt, why did I discuss this? Now before going to why, the one more extension of this notation is, what if suppose ax minus b by x is equal to k? You already know. In the if condition, if the left hand side is minus, in the then condition the right hand side should be plus. Simple, sir. Very simple, very simple way of understanding. Let us not at all complicate and make you people also get confused. Now see here, why did I discuss all these things? See this 27th question, you will understand this. Now the question says 2a minus 1 by 2a is equal to 6. What is that they are asking? A square plus 1 divided by 16a square. 16a square I will write it as 4a whole square. This is what they are asking. Now see here, sir. I should always try to express the given condition in terms of what is being asked in the question. Now, what is being asked in the question? A square plus 1 by 4a whole square. In that, in the denominator I have 4, right? I have 4 in the denominator in this asked for condition. Asked condition has 4 in the denominator, but the given condition is not having 4 in the denominator. It is only having 2 in the denominator. You know that when the asked condition is having 4, given condition also, if I make it 4, it becomes very easy. It is already having 2 in the denominator. I should make it 4. Divide both sides by 2. That means 2a divided by 2, it is a, minus 1 by 2a divided by 2, it is 1 by 4a, is equal to 6 divided by 2, it is 3. Getting the idea, sir? 6 divided by 2, it is 3. Now this is exactly similar to what I have discussed just now. That means if x minus, sorry, where it is, if I wrote the condition somewhere, right, sir? Yes, ax minus b by x is equal to k, then a square x square plus b square by x square is k square plus 2ab. That means the answer for this thing should be equal to k square, that means 3 square plus 2 into a. A is nothing but the coefficient of this a, it is 1. B is nothing but the coefficient of this 1 by a, so it is 1 by 4. So final answer should be 3 plus 1 by 2, sorry, 3 square plus 1 by 2, that means 9 plus 1 by 2. 9 plus 1 by 2 is nothing but 19 by 2 should be the answer for this question. I hope you are very clear why I discussed this particular key point before solving the question what I have solved in question number 27. The idea should be very clear for each and every student who is listening to this particular class, sir. Question number 28. Very beautiful question. More importantly, this is your original question which had come in 2017 mains. 2017 mains original examination question is what we are discussing right now. Extremely beautiful, extremely important question. Listen to this carefully, sir. Listen to this very carefully. Question says a is equal to root 5 plus 1, b is equal to root 5 minus 1, and you need to find the value of something. Let us see what is that something. But having said that, now observe carefully. What is that they are asking you? A square divided by b square. That means a value is given as root 5 plus 1. A square is root 5 plus 1 whole square. B value is given as root 5 minus 1. B square is root 5 minus 1 whole square. That means if I am a very ordinary student who do not want to think in a different way like the way A and C teaches their students, if I am a very ordinary student, assume that I am a student who is not learning from A and C. Assume that I am learning from some XYZ institute and I don't know how to solve this question in a shortcut method. What I will come to a conclusion seeing the question is a square by b square is find the square of a, find the square of b, divide one by the other, get some value. B square by a square is whatever the value you got here, a square by b square, reciprocate it. That means reverse of it will be b square by a square, and keep on substituting, simplifying, and keep on solving, and finally arrive at one out of these four options which are given. And if that is the way, if you are solving, then definitely you should start listening to ANC videos, sir. Definitely this is not the way you need to solve like the way I explained you right now. You should definitely switch on to a method which I will be teaching you right now, and I am sure that I will teach you multiple methods for this particular question. It is completely up to an individual which method you want to implement. Now listen to one of the methods as of now. Now first of all can I say that a square by b square is one of the term, b square by a square is another term, 4 into a by b is the third term, 4 into b by a is the fourth term, 6 is nothing but the fifth term. That means the given actually asked question is having 5 different terms. There are 5 different terms in the question which is being asked, and you are asked to add all those 5 different terms. Think little logically, sir. If they are giving you such a lengthy expression, if they are definitely giving you such a lengthy expression, there should be some purpose behind giving that expression, right? Without any purpose, they will not give you such a lengthy expression. That is 100% for sure. That is something which should strike your mind immediately seeing that expression itself. When you see such kind of lengthy expression, first thing that should come to your mind is there is definitely some purpose behind giving these expressions here. Otherwise, they will not give such a big expression. Now, let us analyze or observe closely what is that purpose. Now, observe carefully, sir. I will simplify this expression. First term is a square by b square. I will write it as a by b whole square. Everyone listen carefully. Second term is b square by a square. I will write it as b by a whole square. Now, let me understand in the way you will understand it better. Let me make you realize in the way you will understand it better. Can I say that a by b whole square is of the form x square, b by a whole square is of the form y square? That means I know that x plus y whole square is nothing but x square plus y square plus 2 into x into y. That means the 2xy term is missing. Let me write it. 2 into x into y. X is a by b, y is b by a. A by b into b by a is nothing but 1. So 2 into 1 is nothing but 2 itself. That means, can I say that if I combine these three terms, I can write it as x plus y whole square. I hope this should be very clear for you people. This can be written as x plus y whole square. Now, you understood it, but immediately you will get another doubt saying that, okay sir, you wrote the first term, you wrote the second term. What about the third term, fourth term and fifth term? Where did they go? Did they all of a sudden go somewhere? No. Why are you not taking care of those last 3 terms which is given in the question? I will take care of right now, sir. Do not worry. I will take care. This is how you need to analyze it. I will take care of every term right now. Now, if you carefully understand, if you carefully observe, I will continue writing the expression. In the third term, it is 4 into a by b. In the fourth term, it is 4 into b by a. I will take 4 common factor and then write them as a by b plus b by a, right? A by b plus b by a, I will write it. Now, third term is written, fourth term is also written. What about fifth term? Fifth term is given in the question as 6, but out of that 6 which is given in the question, I have already written 2, but another 4 is pending, because 2 plus 4 itself is nothing but 6. Now I have written all the 5 terms, but I have not written in the same way it is given in the question. What is the use of writing it in the same way? We are trying to simplify it. That means first 3 terms I can write it as a by b plus b by a whole square, plus remaining terms also I know how to write it right now. Now see here, sir, let us further analyze it. This is how beautifully you should analyze it and simplify the problem, sir. Let us further analyze. Now see here, can I say that this is of the form m square? Let me write it also. There is no harm in writing anyway. This is of the form m square, plus can I say that 4 can be written as 2 square, right? 4 can be written as 2 square. The 2 square is of the form n square. Now, if I want to express this as m plus n whole square, m plus n whole square is m square plus m square n square into, sorry, plus 2 into m into n, correct, right? 2 into m into n. Now, can I say that this 2 I will write it as it is, but the question is having 4 actually, right? The question is having 4 actually, but this, out of this 4 I have already written 2, another 2 I will write it here, because that 2 is corresponding to n. I hope you are understanding. 2 into 2 is 4, so 4 is written, so this 2 is written, this n value 2 is written, so m is nothing but a by b plus b by a. That means this entire expression can I write like this, sir? This is how beautifully I want you people to analyze. This entire expression can be written as m plus n whole square, where m is nothing but a by b plus b by a, n is nothing but 2. So in simple, m plus n, m is a by b plus b by a, and n is nothing but 2 whole square. That means initially the question, whatever they have given, they asked us to add these 5 terms, but instead of adding those 5 terms just like that and simplifying it in a very, very difficult way, we have reduced that to this beautiful screen format, whatever it is observed on the screen right now, as a by b plus b by a whole square. Now, we also know how to solve this further, because a value is root 5 plus 1, b value is root 5 minus 1. That means root 5 plus 1 divided by root 5 minus 1 plus root 5 minus 1 divided by root 5 plus 1 plus 2. That is what we are actually trying to find. But the thing is, this should completely be squared. Now, we already know it, sir. There is no greatness or difficulty in solving this. This entire black color thing, what I am marking right now, this is x plus this is 1 by x. X plus 1 by x can be written as 2 times of, forget about the square roots. So it is 5 plus 1 divided by 5 minus 1. These are all things you should never forget what we have done earlier. So 2 into 1 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 by 2 is 3. That means this entire black color marked one is 3 plus 2. Answer is 3 plus 2 whole square. Answer for this question is 5 square, which is 25. Answer for this question is option D. Right? Answer for this question is option D. Now, you might think that, sir, this is a method. How will we understand that we should analyze like this? Yes, sir, you explained it, you analyzed it, you explained. We also understood how to analyze right now. But while sitting in the examination, how will we understand that we should analyze it? You should analyze it, but before you analyze this in the examination hall, you should practice this kind of things so many times, sir. You should definitely practice. I am repeatedly saying you people, without practice, this kind of analysis will not be will not come to your mind in the examination hall. This will haunt you in the examination hall, and it will make you realize that this is one of the toughest problem. But honestly speaking, this is one of the most easiest problem you can get in an SSC paper. But it will become easy only when you practice this kind of problems earlier before going to examination. Now, whatever method I have solved right now, this I will call it as method 1, right? This I will call it as method 1. Now, sir, what is method 2 then? Is method 2 different completely from method 1? Definitely no. Method 2 is not at all different from method 1. That means whatever I have solved in method 1, this entire analysis, whatever I have solved, and I have come to a conclusion that this will be finally of the form a plus b, a by b plus b by a plus 2 whole square. Till this point of a time, till this point, everything what I have solved in method 1 is absolutely same applicable to method 2 also. But from here, I will not waste my time writing all these things and finding all these things and back substituting and then getting the answer. These all are wastage of times in my examination hall, because if you are little smart, this entire thing, some entire thing inside the bracket is squared. That means the answer should be a perfect square. Simple, right, sir? Answer should be a perfect square. See the answer options. First option is 31, not a perfect square. 23 root 5, 27 root 5 definitely are not perfect square because they are irrational numbers. The only option which is a perfect square is 25. Sir, what if I have another option which is a perfect square? Suppose option E is 49. I have taught you method 1 for that reason itself. If there are more than one options which are perfect squares, then you should apply method 1 and you should find a by b plus b by a value, substitute it as 3 and then find the value as 3 plus 2 whole square as 25. But it is actually not required with the given options, and I am telling you this is your original 2017 mains questions with the exact options what is being displayed on the screen right now. You should be smart enough to say that answer should be of a perfect square form, because the final answer should be of a by b plus b by a plus 2 whole square. That means the entire thing is squared. That means answer should be a perfect square. Answer should be a perfect square. There is only one option which is 25. Mark it and move ahead. I hope the idea is very clear, sir. You should learn like this. You should definitely start thinking like this in the examination hall. If you do not think like this, I think you are definitely going to face a lot of danger in the examination hall. Now, having said that, I will not end this problem at this point itself. Wherever there is a possibility of teaching my students multiple methods, I will teach you multiple methods. It is completely up to you which method to pick it and solve it. Now see here, method 3. Method 3, I will solve it by using answer options. Now you might suddenly get it out. Sir, method 2 also you solved it by using answer options, right? Method 3 also you are saying that you will solve it by answer options. What is that you are trying to convey here? Yes, sir. Method 2 I solved by answer options by using a condition saying that it should be a perfect square. Method 3 also I will solve by answer options because all the options are little far away from each other. I will try to use approximation method. What are you saying, sir? Hold on. Let me first list out the answer options. 31, 23 root 5, 27 root 5, 25. Yes, let me list out. 31, second option is 23 root 5, third option is 27 root 5, and the fourth option is 25, right? 25. Now see here, sir, very simple. 31, first option is 31, fourth option is 25. They are not closer to each other. They are having a difference of 6 units between them, so they are pretty far from each other. Second option is 23 root 5. Root 5 is more than 2, greater than 2, because root 4 is exactly equal to 2. Root 5 is slightly greater than 2. In fact, approximately root 5 is 2.2. So 23 into 2, it is greater than 46. So 31 and 46 are pretty far from each other. 27 root 5. 27 into 2 is 54. 31, 46, 54, 25, all these are very far from each other. So I can use a concept of approximation. Now what is that they have given in this question? A value is root 5 plus 1, B value is root 5 minus 1. Now see here sir, beautiful way of solving. A value is root 5 plus 1. Root 5 is approximately 2.2. 2.2 plus 1 is 3.2. B value is root 5 minus 1. 2.2 minus 1 is 1.2. Now what is that they are asking you in the question? What is being asked in the question? Question says you need to find a by b whole square. A by b whole square. Let me open it sir. Okay, now see here sir. So nothing to worry, do not worry, method 1 and method 2 are not visible in the screen right now. They are erased totally because suddenly the PPT what I was using, it stopped because of some technical issues or some issues, whatever it is. So nothing to worry sir. Let us directly move on to method 3, right? Method 3 is what I was discussing from approximation. So A value will be equal to, so how much it is? 2.2 plus 1, it is 3.2. B value will be 2.2 minus 1, it is 1.2. Now first value is a square by b square, or it is a by b whole square. First of all let me find a by b. It is approximately 3.2 by 2.2, 32 by 12. 8 into 4 into 8 is 32, 4 into 3 is 12. Similarly, if a by b is 8 by 3, b by a will be 3 by 8. 3 by 8 in our percentages class we have discussed it as 37.5%. That means it is 0.375. Similarly 8 by 3, it is approximately 2.5, right? I am just approximating everything because all the four options are pretty far from each other. So instead of saying 8 by 3 as 2.66, I am taking it as 2.5. Now see here sir, what is that they are asking you? A by b whole square. That means 8 by 3 whole square. 8 by 3 whole square is 64 divided by 9 plus second term is b by a whole square. B by a whole square is nothing but 0.375 whole square. Now think little logically sir. 0.375 itself is a smaller value. 0.3 is very closer to 0, right? That itself is a smaller value. When I square 0.375, that will be even more smaller value. Forget about 0.375. Only assume it as 0.3. 0.3 if I square, it will become 0.09. It is even more smaller value. It is almost tending to 0. So I can eliminate it and assume it as 0, right? I can approximate it as 0 itself. Multiply it, 4 times of a divided by b. A by b is 8 by 3, or approximately it is 2.5, right? 2.5 plus 4 times of b by a. Fourth term is b by a. B by a is 0.3, approximated to 0. Sir, how can you just say 0.3 as 0 sir? I can say it because all the answer options are very far from each other sir. That is the reason I am taking it so much of approximation. The last term is 6. If I further simplify, 63 divided by 9 is 7. 64 divided by 9 is approximately 7 once again. Plus 4 into 2.5 is approximately 10. 6 is added. 17 plus 6 is answer should be very closer to 23. Now many students might do this particular mistake because answer is closer to 23. They will mark it as 23 root 3 because 23 number is present there. It is incorrect. 23 root 5. Root 5 I told it as 2.2. 23 into 2.2 is closer to 50. It is not closer to 23. That cannot be the right answer. 31 is also slightly far away from 23, ruled out. 27 root 5 is even more far away from 23, ruled out. The only option which is closer to 23 is 25. That means before this particular PPT suddenly abrupted and before I reopened it, I have taught you method 1. wherein I told you how to actually think about a plus b whole square format. I have taught you method 2, wherein I told you that the answer should be a perfect square, there is only one option. And I right now taught you method 3, which is an approximation method. I have taught you 3 different methods for this particular question. It is completely up to an individual to pick up the method whichever you are comfortable with. I am not saying that method 1 is good, I am not saying method 2 is good, I am not even saying method 3 is good. I am saying as a teacher, my role is to teach you multiple methods, and as a student, your role is to pick up the method which you are comfortable with. So choose whichever the method which you are comfortable, and keep solving that particular method in the examination in the most fastest way possible. I hope the first 28 questions of this particular topic on algebra is very clear for each and every student who is listening to this class.